the ultimate bookish day, and of course we are starting it in Barnes. I wanted to come into the romance section to see if I could find a book by Beverly Jenkins, because I've never read a book by her, and I've just heard that she's the mecca of romance, and I've heard Forbidden is really good, so I'm thinking about picking that one up, but I just don't really know. I do want to get into like the cozy vibes though, and like the fall vibes, so I also think that I'm going to try to bring home some thrillers, because I've been really into a thriller mood. Like I haven't really read any recently, but like I've been itching to pick some up, and I asked in one of my last videos some recommendations from you guys, so I thought it would be fun to like bookshop together. But also you guys picked my day for me on Instagram. I asked a bunch of questions as to like what we should do, and I asked should we go to the bookstore or the library, and you guys chose the bookstore, so that's why we're here first, and then the next place that we go is going to be based on you guys' choice. So let's see what we can find in here. Hopefully I can find some really good thrillers.
Yes. Good. We're there for 8. Tuck, knee to chest. Keep that back leg straight. Good job, you guys. Looks beautiful. Are we ready for our hold? Yep. Dramatic hold time. Here we go. And hold and stay. 5, 4. Keep the knee tucked. 3, 2, 1. Release. Excellent.
I ended up getting some books while I was in Barnes, and I want to show you guys the books that I'm going to unhaul before I like take the books home and show you guys the actual haul. So these are the books that I picked up in Barnes, and I got a pretty good amount, but I want to unhaul a few books because you guys over on Instagram told me that I should go and like give some books away to a free library. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I want to show you guys the books that I'm going to pass on. I'm passing on Sweet Like Honey, not because I don't want to read it, but it's because I have a book with a different cover, and I like the other cover a little bit better. It's like a cutesier cover. I'm also going to pass on Wicked and Wildflower. I just picked this up not even that long ago, like a few months, but I don't know. It's part of a series, but it's like supposed to be super, super spicy. And when I picked it up, I was just like in a mood for like heavy spice, and it like comes so few and far between when I just like want only spice, no plot. And maybe that's just like my summer mood. I don't know, but it's going to the free library. And again, the free library like has not very many books in it usually, so I'm hoping that someone will enjoy these books and it will like make their day. I also am bringing Wild Women and the Blues to put in there because this is a historical fiction, and I try to make sure that the free library has like a diverse like plethora of books. I'm also going to put Playback by Carla Malden in there, and I'm going to put The Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes. I try to, again, have like lots of different types of books in there just because you never know who is looking in. No Better Time by Sheila Williams. Let me know if you guys think some of these books should be like read first before I put them into the free library. This is one I was like on the fence about. You Started It by Jackie Kalila. It's a young adult book, but I just haven't really been in the mood for young adult books like all year. Like I've read just a handful of them and they've been like okay. Also going to put The Sweetest Remedy in there. I'm really hoping that someone loves these books. I want to put The Wall of Winnipeg and Me in there because I wasn't obsessed with my first Mariana Zapata book, and the pages in this, like I can just tell that like the ink is like a little too black for me. Like I'm really weird with like pages and stuff. Like I want it to look a certain way. And then Breakpoint by Yara St. John. I actually really loved reading another book by Yara St. John. I can't remember the name of it. But I remember reading it and it was really fun to read, but I feel like this one I just am like not as interested in, because the other one was, I think, dance, and this one's like tennis. And I don't know, the premise didn't seem as interesting to me. The relationship mechanic, I'm going to put this in there as well. I know Natalie Lawyer read this and she said it was like cute, but she wasn't like obsessed. So I just feel like there's other books that I have on my shelf that I could read that maybe I'd fall in love with. Also, You with a View was one I was really on the fence about because I loved the X-Vows, but I don't really care for grandparents in books. I know that I'm probably like one of the few people who like feels that way, but for me, grandparents in books are always like so stereotypical. It's either they're like super grumpy, they never want to like talk to anyone, or they're like the I'll bake you cookies like type of grandparent. And they always just seem to like have the same character trope, or they just like act the exact same, and I just get a little bored because it seems kind of predictable. I'm also going to put Sisters in Arms in there, just because I know this is a movie and I feel like I will watch the movie before the book, and I don't think I'll ever actually end up getting to the book. Also, I think there's 3 more here. By Her Own Design, by Piper Hewley. And these are a good amount of historical fiction books. I still have a ton on my shelf, but I feel like I'm really leaning into the ones that I'm like very excited to read. Like I want the books on my TBR to book books I'm super excited to pick up. Maya Angelou's The Complete Poetry book. I don't need a book this big. I think this is like a table book. I have like a smaller book with some of her work in it. And then the last book is the Cooking Up a Storm. It's like a cooking book. I don't really use cookbooks very often. I just am someone who just kind of throws in seasonings and like makes things on the fly. So I don't feel like I will really get to that cookbook anytime soon. So those are the books that I want to put in there. Hopefully somebody enjoys them, but that was what you guys said that I should do. I asked if I should either go to read outside or if I should fill up a free library, and you guys said fill up a free library. Somehow I have all these books in my hand and hopefully they don't fall. This is what the free library looks like right now. There's lots of kids books, which is pretty typical, but actually when I started filling it up a few years ago, it was always completely empty. And this free library is right next to a high school and also the biggest food pantry in my hometown. So I always try to keep it full because I feel like it gets a lot of like people who stop over here. The free library is filled up now. I try to put the books that are like most interesting at the top, and then down here I put like the cookbooks, and then I put like a few other books. I also try to put a book that's like front facing that like brings people's eyes to the free library, because I feel like sometimes people just walk past them because they don't think anything's going to be in them. But we have some historical fiction, some young adult, have some like adult romance, we have some spicy romances, we have some sapphic romances. There's just like a ton of books in this stack, so hopefully somebody enjoys this. I have some books I want to open with you guys, but I also have some book reviews, so I'm going to go through those. I also got a few books from Barnes, but I'm just going to show you guys those a different day because I want to open these packages, and I'm as excited to see what's inside of them as you guys probably are. So the books that I'm reading, for one, we gotta talk about how I am 7 books behind on my Goodreads reading goal. I've read over 100 books this year, but I made my goal 180 books by the end of the year that I want to have read, because I read 175 books last year and 170 books the year before. Now you're probably thinking, how do you read so much? It's because I literally don't do anything else. Like, I didn't watch Love Island, I'm not caught up on Summer I Turned Pretty, like I don't really watch TV shows like I feel like a lot of people do, and that alone just makes so much more reading time, because if you watch one episode of anything, that's probably an hour, and you know, you watch 4 episodes of anything, that's 4 hours. It takes me about an hour to read 60 pages. You guys get the gist. And I feel like a lot of people have other hobbies as well, which I do. Like, I like to color and things, but usually I'll listen to an audiobook while I'm doing stuff. So like, it's very rare that I'm not like just reading a book in some sense, but I am not like a huge audiobook listener. Like, for a full book, usually I'll like listen in tandem with the reading. So like, if I'm coloring, I might listen to the book, but then I will also read, which is why I really enjoy Spotify's like reading options, because you get 10 hours a month versus like having to pick a whole book. I also love Audible though, because I do feel like they have some books on there that Spotify doesn't have. But yeah, so anyway, this week I want to catch up on my reading goal, but I also want to have like a very much a fall vibe, like a very fall-esque video. I did a lot of the stuff yesterday that you guys said I should do on my Instagram stories, but there was one thing I didn't do, which was watch the sunset. I asked if I should watch the sunset or if I should watch the sunrise. You guys all said sunset, so I'm gonna try to do that tonight, because I just think it's fun when you guys like pick my day and like what I should do. But it's starting to get chilly outside, like, and I think it's just because it's windy, but like this morning we were gonna go out on the boat and we're like, it's 69 degrees, like Fahrenheit, and 69 over the water is chilly. Like, it's not cold, but like to be in a bathing suit, like I feel like that's kind of chilly. So right now I think it's 75, but again, it's like super windy, water super choppy. So later tonight when it drops a little bit, I'm not really sure like how cold it'll be sitting outside, but I feel like it'll be a great temperature. It's not gonna be like freezing or anything. It's gonna be like a really good temperature for reading outside. So I've decided I'm going to like read a bunch of books this week, just prioritize reading. I think the way for me to read even more than I already do is to, one, I set a timer when I read, because I feel like when I sit down to read, sometimes I get distracted by my phone. That's usually why I end up reading less. And I want to not do that. So like I will set a timer for 30 minutes and then I will read, or if I am like really struggling with focusing, I'll set a timer for 15 minutes and then, you know, turn off the timer and then reset it 15 minutes and be like, you gotta lock in during this time. Like, you cannot touch your phone. That really helps me a lot. Also, waking up in the morning at 5 a.m. I do that very frequently, but in the last probably few months, I've been waking up at 5 a.m. and I start work immediately versus reading, which the reason why I started waking up at 5 a.m. was so I could read more. And it's turned into me just like editing more stuff, and like there's always work to be done. So I need to prioritize my hobbies and reading a little bit more. But I finished Team Players by Deanna Gray yesterday. Love this book so much. I read Sunny Disposition, which is the first book in this series, and I thought it was like cute. I thought it was okay. I think I rated 3 or 3.5 stars maybe. 4-star, very solid read, so good. I think the thing that I loved most about this book is there's like something outside of the romance that you're following and trying to figure out, which keeps the story interesting. And I also think that having like a side plot outside of the romance keeps me invested, and the two characters in this, they like make a bet. So you're following them because you're like, are they gonna break the bet? Like, who's gonna win the bet? And then along with that, there's another side plot, which I'm not gonna like share, but it is just like a really fun story overall. I feel like it was a super easy read, read it really quick, and I definitely wanna read the next book that's coming out. I think the next book has a pink cover, but it's not out yet. This might be one of my favorite books by Deanna Gray. I really enjoyed this one. I already left up my review on Goodreads, so you guys can go see that. And then after that, I picked up Summer's Echo by Robbie Renee. I almost feel like this is great book, wrong time. Just because like I finished Sweet Heat, which was a 5-star read for me. I shared that in my last vlog, and I don't know, I just feel like that book had so much depth, it was so lyrical and all the things, and this book is kind of giving a similar vibe, but it's like, not a similar vibe to that, but it's like, it's a more serious read. Like, this was like fun. Like, there was a point in this book where he like sees that she's sick and he picks her up and takes her to the doctor. It's giving like Wattpad-ish vibes in a way. This is like more serious, more like Brittany Cherry, more like, you know, the heartfelt, like cutesy but deep story. Like, it's that. And I don't think that I'm ready for a book like that right now, like right after Sweet Heat, because I feel like that book kind of was like more serious and like lyrical. So I just need like a break in between. So I got to chapter 10 on this, and I decided to put this one down and pick up The Plan by Janai Bennett. And guys, this is exactly what I needed to read. Exactly what I needed to read. I've had this on my TBR, I'm not kidding, since like last summer or last spring, and I don't know why I haven't picked it up. Rosalie has talked about this, how she read it and enjoyed this book. So why haven't I read it? I don't know. I love her channel and her recs. So picked it up. It's exactly what I wanted. It definitely is giving Wattpad, like, in the best way though. Like, I love books that are like dramatic and like they've been through so much together. And this is also a book that I feel like gives true enemies to lovers. And I feel like it's hard to find like books that are enemies to lovers books, but this will hook you from like the first few pages. So that's exactly what I needed. I needed something easy. Also, you can see the found like family in this is definitely gonna make me interested to read the other books in the series. So yeah, really excited to dive into this even more. It's also reminding me of books by Janisha Boswell. If you've read Our Secret Moments or anything like that, pick up this book. It's very good. I'm already 60 pages through, which is to chapter 6. It is a long book. So I have some packages. The first package I have is from Kristen Becker Ritchie, and these authors, they're an author duo that wrote the Addicted series. I read the first book. It was cool. Like, it was fine. I think I rated it 3.5 stars. Like, it was good. I have the second book, and I've thought about putting it into a free library many times. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm actually gonna get through the series, but every time I pick up that book, I'm like, I actually want to read this. Like, I genuinely want to read it. So I just don't end up giving it away, but I also don't end up actually picking it up to read. Like, but then when I go to give it away, I'm like, I do want to read it. So there just hasn't been a time when I want to read it. But they have a new book that comes out on September 6th. Whoa, y'all, look at this book. This book is thick. This book is so thick. Holy cow. Wow. This came from Bloom, and this looks so good. I'm just like reading this stuff in here right now, and it has like, it's like, welcome to, like, you're a Manhattan Valley student, like, welcome to the school, like basically acting like you're a student in this little like paper. And yeah, again, this comes out on the 6th. It says, how long have you been the sun? Ben Cobalt is number 6. Is Cobalt from the Addicted series? I feel like that name sounds so familiar. Like, is this continuing that series? Because I haven't read that series. Like, someone let me know. Like, if you've read the Addicted series, is this like a new thing or like a spin-off? I hate spin-offs when like the series is like 19 books long, because I'm like, I haven't even got through the first one. Like, I literally read the first book in the Addicted series. This one's called Burn Bright. It says Ben Cobalt is number 6, not 6th place. In fact, he'd be considered at least 3rd draft pick for the NHL if he didn't quit hockey during college. And he's not 6th in line for any throne, though most consider his larger-than-life billionaire family American royalty. He's the 6th born Cobalt. Out of a normal family of 7, he might get lost in the shuffle, but being the black sheep of the Cobalt Empire comes with its own intense spotlight. After he hits a major low at college in Philly, his 4 older brothers convince him to move in with them in New York City, transferring to Manhattan Valley University. Piece of cake. Living in an apartment with all his brothers while harboring a giant secret among a tight-knit family who's closer than a secret society. Total effing chaos. He has to find a way out of the tense living arrangement, especially as he clashes with his older brother Charlie. Ben turns to an unlikely source for help, a grumpy punk rock girl with a troubled past who's already pissed off one Cobalt brother. So when an undeniable attraction ignites, Harriet Fisher is expecting the flames to die out, except what happens when they don't. Falling for a Cobalt brother with secrets might be a Shakespearean tragedy she can't rewind. I feel like there was a guy in the first book, his last name was Cobalt, like the friend who was like into the sister. I don't know. This book is long though. Like, woo! This book is 676 pages for a romance, guys. That's a lot of pages. Like, wow. Okay, so it says character list. The Cobalts: Connor Cobalt and Rose Calloway. And then it talks about their kids. So like, this is their kids? Why do they sound so familiar? I mean, granted, I only read the first book and I read it like last year, so like I don't really remember the characters. But anyway, this book comes out September 6th, so pick it up if you want to read it. But I feel like it is a continuation, but like maybe you don't have to read the other ones because it's about the kids. And then I got some books that I ordered. I have been trying to find books that don't have a ton of reviews, as always. Like this book right here has 275 reviews. Love that. Absolutely love that. I love finding books that don't have a ton of reviews, because it's nice going into a book kind of blind, where you don't have people telling you like, this book sucks or this book's great. You know, like I can just go into it without a ton of like, I don't know, opinions that are already formed in my head. I picked up 3 books. These are all books by Black authors. I got this first book. It's called Teach Me to Fly. This is a dark romance. It says she came home to escape her demons and he's never stopped feeding his, a match made in ruin. It says trauma always leaves a mark and mine is buried deep beneath scar tissue and muscle memory. I fled New York to escape the ballet world that broke me and the man who ruined everything, swearing I'd never dance again. But Imperium isn't New York. They're here to challenge the rules, starting with a darker, grittier Swan Lake retelling with an Odile who finds her own redemption. I'm partnered with a boy I once knew, except Rain Harrington isn't a boy anymore. Now he's a man filled with quiet rage and too many secrets. I'm not going to go into it, but you can get the gist. She's a dancer. She's partnered with this guy that she used to know. And she's like broken. I mean, I feel like I want to read it. Like the words look really big. I haven't heard anyone talk about this book at all. Don't even know how I found this book. I think I was just trying to do a deep dive to see some dark romance books by Black authors. Cause I don't feel like I see a lot. Like I'll see urban romance books and I will see like spicy romance, but I don't see a lot of dark romance, which they're different. And I remember seeing a comment one time where someone asked like, what is urban romance? And urban romance is different than Black romance. Like they're two totally different things in the same way that like dark romance is different than contemporary romance. Like they're just very different. So books that I would categorize as urban romance are books that are set in like an urban setting. Usually you'll see like a shootout, or you might have like some grittier topics in the book, like Demon's Dream by Elle Kaysen. That would be a good recommendation. That's a urban romance. I'm trying to think of some other ones that I've like read that like fit the bill for that, because sometimes I feel like people will be like, oh, like here's an urban romance, like, and they're in their head, I know what they're trying to say. They're saying it's a book by a Black author, but like they're different things. Like they're not this, they don't cross over. So I've been trying to, it's basically just like a different genre of like romance. So like if you are looking for a specific type of book, like a rom-com, you know, like a rom-com is totally different than a dark romance, right? Like you would never, if someone was like, hey, do you have a dark romance? You would never be like, oh, here you go. Like, you know, here's The Summer I Turned Pretty or something, you know, like they're totally different. So I've been trying to find romances in lots of different types of genres and vibes, even if they're not something I'm super comfortable with, just because I don't want to write something off just because I feel like I won't like it, because I love urban romances, like love them, like Capone, like, I mean, I love them, but I have to be in the mood for them. And I haven't really read any dark romances other than I think like Butcher and Blackbird, which I think was like more of a rom-com / dark romance because they were murderers. So like I do think it fits the category, but like it was like funny. So it wasn't a true like dark romance like Haunting Adeline or something like that. And so I want to pick up some by Black authors just because I feel like if I'm going to read a genre that I'm like not super comfortable with, I'm going to read one where people ask me to recommend and have books to recommend to them. So I feel like people ask all the time, they're like, do you have any recommendations for dark romances by Black authors? And I'm like, I have some, but I haven't read them. So I want to read them. So I have like maybe 3 or 4 on my shelf, not very many, but I kind of want to read them all in one go. And this is one of them. I also have Time Stops With You by Nia Arthurs. This looks so cute. Look at the cover of this. It says, Ronan Cullen is a silver-eyed, terminally ill millionaire who blows into my life with 2 simple words: marry me. After years of caring for my genius little brother, the kid finally does it. He hacks into a top secret coding program and lures a reclusive millionaire straight to my door. Cullen's health is failing and he wants to secure a legacy, but one wide-eyed plea isn't nearly enough to convince me to become the next Mrs. Cullen. Even if the request comes from a man with hypnotic eyes, endless wealth, and the power to sweep me off my feet. Falling for a man marked for death means crossing a line I can't uncross, and with every moment I spend with Cullen, I feel myself slipping deeper, knowing that no matter how tender he holds me, no matter how sweetly he kisses me, no matter how much I crave him, Ronan Cullen is running out of time. I love a marriage of convenience trope. I feel like you don't see it very often. I think I've only read like 2 marriage of convenience books, and sometimes it's like, they're like silly. It's like, you need to get married to her to get an inheritance, like just wait and like get your inheritance later. Like that inheritance isn't going anywhere. But this makes sense because it's like, he's dying, he's terminally ill, he needs someone to like take over his legacy. He doesn't want it to die with him. So like that makes sense why you would want to like find a good person, marry them, and like continue your legacy. So I'm excited to read this. Again, it's by a Black author, and love the cover of it. Like, how beautiful is that? And then the last book that I got is The Girl No Boy Could Love by J. Allen Phelps. And this is a book I haven't heard a lot of people talk about. It's like less than 200 pages. It says, young Tamara James battles severe arrhythmia and sickle cell anemia, and with no future to look forward to, takes pleasure in hooking up with any boy who will have her. But after graduating high school with honors, biggest hoe of class 96, dang, like, she flees Chicago. Turns out every bed, backseat, and closet she dirties pushes her further into the love and freedom she desires. So when Tamara arrives at Grandma Mary's in Tennessee, she's ready to die and embrace the flames of hell. But when the stars align and well-spoken, clean-shaven Californian poet Maurice Harding passes through town, Tamara is determined to hook up with him. Tamara could care less about the ring on his finger or the fiance he'd hurt. She wants her night of pleasure, but unlike the scores of thugs, jockeys, and married men she's conquered in Chicago, Maurice Harding holds fast in his refusal. And in his honor and fidelity, Tamara learns what it means to love, and in the heat of southern summer, they light up the town in a would-be romance that will haunt them for the rest of their lives. Whoa, this is wild. Like, the storyline and premise of this, I didn't even read it. I just heard someone, I think, talking about it on TikTok. Don't know who was talking about it, but it just looked good. So I always also wonder, because I've obviously been chatting for a little bit, I wonder if sometimes I talk for too long, because I feel like in a lot of vlogs I watch, like, people don't talk as long. Like, you get a lot of like music overlay and stuff, and like, I just want it to feel like we're on FaceTime together. So I hope you guys love like chatty like unboxings and like the updates on like life. Like, I talked in like the last video about like my thoughts on the future and like kids and like how my perspective has shifted, and I feel like I've talked about a lot of different like topics that are like important to me or just like on my mind, and like you guys give feedback in the comments, and it literally feels like we're just like hanging out and on FaceTime, and I love that. But I need to know, do you love that? Like, comment below if you do, or just comment like a little heart if you enjoy it. If you don't have to like even say anything. I know there's so many silent like watchers who don't really say much. That's okay. You can be a silent watcher. Just like comment below if you like the chats, and would just love to know your thoughts. So I'm gonna go out, watch the sunset, read the book that I'm enjoying right now, literally cannot put it down, and put these books on my shelf because they look so good. Is it working?
It's hard to tell.
Do you feel anything? And also it's like the bugs are probably gone at this point anyway. Yeah. It's hard to tell. like such a dream to be out here right now just because it's so like nice. Hopefully you guys can hear me over the wind. I'm currently reading The Plan by Janiyah Bennett because I ended up finishing Summer's Echo, which is what I started reading whenever I came out here. Such a good book. This book is like very nostalgic, and if you want to read a book where it's like first loves, they're like doing all of their firsts, like kissing each other for the first time, like all the things, and there's like a summer camp vibe in this book, you will really love this book if that's like the type of book you're wanting to read. It's definitely like a soft love, very like, I can't even explain it, like nostalgic is the best word to explain it because it's so sweet. There's definitely tougher topics in it, but I feel like they're more like at the end, and most of the book is just like a very sweet, like sickeningly sweet in the best way. So if you want just like a sweet love story, definitely pick that up. I got about 100 pages into this book last night and needed to talk to you guys about it because it is so good. Like it's so good. It's reminding me of Our Secret Moments by Janisha Boswell, which is a book I absolutely loved and rated very highly. And there's lots of drama, lots of mess. You will not be bored if you pick up this book at all. I feel like if you like a book that gives like Wattpad vibes, where it's like you never know what's gonna happen, pick this up. Do not let the cover of this book make you feel like it doesn't have a lot going on. And also this cover right here, even though this says Summer's Echo, that's the name of the character. So like one of the girls, or the main girl, her name is Summer, and the main guy, his name is Echo. But this book literally starts in October. So like this isn't just like a summer book just because her name is Summer. There is a summer camp in it, but you definitely aren't just getting like summer vibes. You could easily read this any time of year and not feel like it's just gonna give like summer. But this book, guys, I already know I'm gonna rate this so highly, and that's so surprising because I got done reading Sweet Heat and I almost immediately went into reading a thriller because I was like, if I read a romance, it's not going to hit the way that I want it to hit, because like Sweet Heat was like a 5-star read for me. Like nothing is going to hit the same, and this is exactly what I needed. I needed the drama, I needed the mess. I'm loving this so much. Also, can we talk about how there are literal leaves on the ground right now? Like I am sitting outside, it is windy, and this morning it was actually 64 degrees, which I don't know what that is in Celsius. I think it's like 18 degrees Celsius, and it was like that until probably like 10 o'clock. You guys were making fun of me because I was saying that like August to me is fall, like it'll always be fall, especially in the Midwest because the weather is so unpredictable here. Now, like I feel validated. Like I feel validated in the fact that like it made sense that I said fall is August because leaves are falling. It was 64 this morning, and even like an hour north of here, it was 55. So like 10 degrees colder was just an hour north of here. So I feel like the cold is gonna come fast. It's not gonna be like something that isn't right around the corner. Like it's here, it's literally here. So I really do want to read a lot of my like end of summer reads or like summer-ish type books before it gets into fall. But I will say that this book is reminding me that I shouldn't judge a book by its cover, because even though this book cover gives summer, I feel like the like stuff that's happening in the book isn't just like summer related. If you like the book, like if you like the Addicted series, or if you like Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, if you like books that are like set in college, but then you also get to see them after college and like their messiness, and if you like an enemies to lovers story, like literally there's a point where he goes like, what did he say? It was so funny because I almost wanted to say it out loud because yeah, he goes, what did he say? He said, what did he say? He said, I like our whole enemies thing, keeps things interesting. And she's like, or maybe you just like have any excuse to talk to me even if it's arguing. And that is the perfect culmination of what a large part of this book is like. You're getting flashbacks to them in college, and you're seeing that she's like has this rule where she's like, I'm not dating anyone till I'm 25, and he's trying to like break down her walls and be like, no, you can trust me, but she's like had some things in her life that make her be like, yeah, no, like that's not happening. and then you get the future where they like hate each other, and this is like 4 years like later, and it's maybe like a little more than 4 years later, maybe like 5 or 6, but it's been a while, and it is just so good because I'm like, why do they hate each other? Like, why, when he seemed to be breaking down her walls, like he seemed to be getting her comfortable with him, like why is it that they absolutely hate each other? Not like dislike, like they hate each other, like can't stand each other, like yell at each other, say like F off, like get out of my face. Like, I need to know why. So I have been reading this book not nonstop, because obviously I did end up finishing Summer's Echo, but I more finished this because I kind of got in the mood for this book, and then I knew if I didn't read it while I was in the mood for it, it just like would not be finished. But I breezed through it pretty fast. I will say again, it's very like sickeningly sweet, very nostalgic, like first love, first kiss, like all of that. There are again hard parts, but it's mostly like just a sweet romance. So I wanted to read that while I like had a mini mood for that. But now I'm like, I'm in this. I'm in it, and I love it. This is definitely going to be a book that's like highly rated. Like when I give my top 10 favorite books of the year, I feel like this book's going to be on it. The limit does not exist on the amount of times that I can wash my hands while I am like cooking or like making a meal or something. I swear after every single thing, I feel the need to wash my hands, which I mean isn't a bad thing, but it's just like kind of funny. I am feeling so grateful that I'm like back home making homemade meals again, because when we were in Amsterdam and London, I'm not kidding, we just like enjoyed Amsterdam and London. Like we ate all the breads and all the sweets and stuff. And oh, here's the food. Let's see. Oh, it's not done yet. But yeah, while we were there, we indulged in all the things, which was great, but I don't know, I feel like on vacation, I definitely need to be conscious of like what I'm eating a little bit more instead of just like going wild, because I'm not someone who just eats whatever at home. Like you guys know that I'm pretty like strict with what I put in my body, because I know how it makes me feel when I don't put things in my body that like make me feel good. So like every other weekend we kind of just like eat, you know, whatever, like sweets, breads, and all the things. And then during the week we eat like anything that comes from an animal, so like milk, cheese, eggs, meat, things like that, and then fruits and vegetables, and that's like pretty much it. We try to stay away from sugars, and like we try not to have like any drinks or juice that have sugar in it, and we try to stay away from a ton of different breads. I have a buckwheat allergy, but I also feel like I'm intolerant to some types of bread. I don't know which ones, because I swear every single like bread that I eat, like my stomach just expands and like doesn't feel very good afterward. And maybe that's like how you're supposed to feel when you eat bread, I don't know. Because like everyone who eats bread, I feel like they're just like, oh, I'm like so full, but it's like, is that normal? I don't know. But anyway, so we have like, you know, like certain things that we eat, and when we were on vacation, we just like ate whatever. Now, again, it's like you can do whatever, whenever, however, but I should have been more conscious of what I ate on vacation, because I felt so like bad. Like the whole vacation, I just felt terrible. Like my stomach hurt, I was tired. I also feel like I was more irritable because I didn't feel good. And it was just like a nonstop cycle, because we went to London, Amsterdam. Right after that, we went to Nashville for my birthday. And then right after that, I went to Hilton Head with some friends. So it was just like back to back to back. And I just feel very grateful to be home. Right now I'm making these like little chicken bowls. Obviously there is some spinach on the bottom, and then there's some lemon. And I'm gonna put some potatoes in there. These I just like seasoned. There's these like tiny little potatoes. And I always have little containers for the next day. So like I make our meals for lunches, and they're the exact same meal that I make for dinner. I just like double up on the recipe. I feel like that's the easiest way to meal prep. Like if you're someone who doesn't really like to meal prep very much, do that, because it's really not that hard to just make double the amount of the food that you're gonna eat, and then just eat that for lunch, and then I won't make the same meal for a full week. I won't make it again until next week. For the next week I will make it. So like basically you're gonna get a chicken meal 4 times out of the month. And then I make steak once a week. I also make, I'm trying to think of some other stuff. I make salmon once a week. I also make, I can't even think. If you want my recipes, let me know. I have like a whole list. It's just the same thing, and I've been eating the same exact thing over and over and over, and I never get bored of it because I only eat it once a week, so it's like 4 times a month. Like, if I have salmon 4 times a month, I'm not gonna be mad about it. And sometimes like with chicken, like I'm making chicken thighs, sometimes I'll cook it this way, but then other times I'll put like salsa on top of it, like homemade salsa. You know, so like stuff like that, it kind of changes the recipe and makes it taste a little bit different. Or like with this, you know, we have potatoes. We have started adding in rice, which is really the only grain that we add in, because it doesn't give me that same like in pain feeling as like breads do. But also I still feel like I usually only have that maybe like once a week, like max. Same with potatoes. We don't have potatoes a ton, but like if we have rice, I'll do like potatoes the next week or something. So anyway, I just feel very good being back home. If you're someone who just like, you don't feel good, really look at what you're eating. We made this switch to like eat differently last October, and we stuck with it. And really we started because we were like, oh, we kind of want to do like a reset. We want to see like what we're allergic to. We want to feel better. Like we just, you know, whatever. It wasn't like supposed to be like a lifelong thing. It was really just going to be like a short stint. And then it's turned into this because we just feel terrible when we're not eating in the way that we feel that we should. So again, it's like, yeah, is ice cream really great to have after dinner every single night? 100%. Is it, you know, fun to have soda and like whatever? 150 million %. And like, I love that, which is why like every other weekend we'll have those things. But after that weekend's over, I'm always ready, like so ready to get back to like eating food that I know isn't gonna make my stomach hurt, isn't gonna make me tired. This food actually energizes me. You know when you are like hungry and your stomach's empty, like the empty feeling, not the hungry feeling, but the empty feeling? That's how I feel after I eat meals like this, because my stomach is full, I'm fully satiated, but like my stomach doesn't have that like bloated, like in pain feeling that like some foods will give. And again, it's like maybe everyone doesn't feel that way. I feel like because I'm allergic to like so many things, I probably have food allergies. I actually went to an allergist a few years back, but they don't like do food allergy tests. They only do tests for like other stuff. Literally allergic to everything. Grass, like every freaking dust mite you can think of, dogs, cats. Like we literally had a dog. Like I'm so allergic to a lot of things. So I'm sure I have a lot of food allergies. And I also feel like as adults, you don't really look at what you're allergic to food-wise, because you kind of lean on what you were allergic to as a kid, and you're just like, oh yeah, I'm like allergic to that because I was allergic to that when I was 7. But like you could have developed an allergy over time and you didn't know it. So yeah, anyway, this has been great for us. We always, you know, eat the things that we want. It's not like we're not eating those things. It's just that we feel so much better when we don't, like so much better. And I think that's how we're like supposed to feel. Like we're not supposed to wake up with a headache or feel bloated or have a stomach ache after dinner or immediately after you eat feel like you need to take a nap. Like that's not how I don't think we're supposed to feel. I think we're supposed to be energized. We're supposed to have a clear mind. Like our stomach's supposed to be full but not in pain. I do think that when we switched to this, it was hard initially because like your body is just so addicted to like sugar and stuff, and it's not used to not having all those things. So like when we first started, I feel like I was super, super hungry, but it's because I had to get used to like eating differently. Like bread and stuff fills your stomach up in a different way than like protein does. And I try to get like 170 grams of protein each day. And that's like my goal every day. And so if I end up a little short, I end up really where I'm supposed to be, because you're supposed to try to get the amount of protein per day, like in comparison to your body weight. And I weigh like 153 or something like that. or 57, somewhere around there. And so if I don't get 170 grams of protein, I end up at like 160. It's like perfect. I am still like in the range of what I should get per day. So that's always my goal, but I'm always eating little snacks. Like I'll have apples, and like we have these individualized peanut butters, and I'll have like a yogurt that has no sugar, no lactose in it. Those will be like little stacks I'll have throughout the day. And yeah, like they're not necessarily as fun as like getting Reese's crackers or like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of little snacks that I used to have, like Cheez-Its or whatever, but they're definitely a lot more filling, and there's something that I know is gonna actually give me some kind of sustenance so that I'm not back in the cabinet later on trying to like eat because I'm still hungry. I just like got something in my stomach to like fill it up and expand it, but it didn't actually give me nutrients. So yeah, anyway, long roundabout way of saying I am making dinner. It's almost done, so I'm gonna put it in here and then we're gonna eat. I might watch the sunset a little bit later too. A package to open with you guys, and I have the Barnes & Noble book haul that I didn't show you guys the other day, so I'm gonna show you guys that now. I am really excited about this package because it is one that I've been like awaiting for quite some time. I opened it and then like I didn't realize it was a book, and so I wanted to wait to show you guys. I ended up getting Blood Moon, which is so exciting. You guys know I've been trying to get into my fantasy bag, and this is the year for me to do it. Like, I really want to read more fantasy books, and this is by a Black author. It's by Brittany Lewis. Can't wait to read it. I've heard such great things about it. It says, "Dear reader, from the moment I knew I wanted to be an author, I dreamed of being someone who would write epic fantasy stories, but for years I lived under the false narrative that I didn't possess the ability to create a world much grander than my own. That's a hard reality to live in, and it was my anger that taught me how untrue that belief was." Anger, you might ask? Why anger? Anger because I was so tired of seeing my favorite BIPOC characters get the short end of the stick in the paranormal fantasy settings. Think Bonnie Bennett in The Vampire Diaries, Maddie Bishop in Siren, Leah Clearwater and Jacob Black in Twilight, Tara Thornton in True Blood, most of all the black characters in Supernatural, and Teen Wolf, and the list unfortunately goes on. I wanted vengeance, and I realized that I needed to take matters into my own hands, and in the cold of winter 2023, I rage wrote the first draft of Blood Moon in a month. Every day I woke up a couple hours before my day job to write, and every evening after dinner I wrote until exhaustion. The story practically poured out of me. It's no secret Blood Moon is inspired by The Vampire Diaries and New Moon Twilight, so I knew the book would follow a main character in a town with paranormal beings in a contemporary setting. Likewise, I knew the story would be packed with rich lore, a fresh take on werewolves and vampires, and a star-crossed romance, and it would include all my favorite tropes, but with more diversity. And then it tells the story of Blood Moon. It says it follows an 18-year-old Marabella Owens who is mysteriously accepted into a university in her hometown, a town known for its legends of werewolves and vampires. But Mira stopped believing in those fairy tales years ago. Now, as college begins, she has a strange run-in with Julian, a mysterious boy with golden eyes. This is literally giving Twilight. And a coldness directed at her for reasons she can't understand and he won't explain. But when a blood moon rises, Mira finds herself caught in the middle of a long-standing battle. With Julian on the other side of the line, she discovers there's more truth to the old town legends than she could ever have anticipated, and her family's historic role in it will change her world forever. I hope you love Blood Moon as much as I do. It's a coming-of-age story about a stubborn girl who's determined to be the hero of her own story, and regardless of who you are, I hope you're able to find pieces of yourself in this story in the same way that I have. And this comes out September 9th, 2025. Guys, this has probably been my most anticipated fantasy release because one, I'm not a big fantasy reader, but I loved Twilight. And I think the reason I loved it is because it felt like it could actually happen. I have a hard time with fantasy because I know a lot of people like to read fantasy to like escape the world that they're actually in, but I have a hard time like visualizing all the things that are happening in fantasy books because they're so fantastical, like they're so different than what actually happens in the real world. And I feel like a lot of people like fantasy for that reason, but I'm just such a visual learner. I really struggle with that. So having this be in like a real life world is so exciting to me. The words are huge. This just looks like it's gonna be a really easy and fast read. Yeah, and I cannot wait to dive into it. So I think that I might do a video like reading fantasy books for a week. Let me know what you guys think. I want to get into more fantasy this year. I just feel like I haven't found the right fantasy books for me. Like I read Fourth Wing and I read that in 24 hours. Really enjoyed it, but it wasn't something that I was like, oh my God, I need to like read the rest of the series like right now. But again, I enjoyed it. And then I read A Court of Thorns and Roses and like, it was fine. And everyone's like, oh, you need to get into the second book. But I'm like, I spent so much time reading the first book. I don't know if I want to spend that kind of time to read the second book if I am not 100% sure that I'm going to love it. I don't know. I don't know. It wasn't like, I wasn't like doing cartwheels for it. So there are some fantasy books that I have on my shelf, which I'll show you guys in a second, that I'm thinking about picking up. I've thought about getting some like popular ones, but I almost feel like I want to get some books that are fantasy books that aren't super popular because I want to go in without any predisposition. Like I don't want to have any like thoughts behind like what I should feel, or I don't want any spoilers. Like I have so many books that I could pick up that I feel like I already know the storyline because so many people have read them. So excited to read that. And then they also sent this little crew neck, which is literally giving Twilight. Like, I don't care what you say. It's literally giving Twilight. It says, Lakeland University, Timber Plains, established in 2025. I'm gonna wear this so freaking much. This literally looks like something that I would get from like a college or like a high school or whatever. So, excited for that. And then, of course, I have the books that I wanna show you guys that I picked up. I ended up getting 3 books from Barnes & Noble. So, let's dive into these. They're all very different. The first book that I picked up is a thriller, which I feel like I am in the mood for thrillers right now. Honestly, I'm in the mood for just like different things because I do love me a good romance, but I feel like fall is when I'm gonna really branch into like different types of books. And I picked up We Are All Guilty Here by Karen Slaughter. This is the author who wrote Pretty Girls. I have not read that yet. I've heard nothing but great things about it. But I'm the type where I'm like, if everyone's talking about a book by an author, I need to read another book first. Like I need to fall in love with their writing before I read the book that everybody raves about. And this says the book is I think it's part of a series. It says it's the first thrilling mystery in the new North Falls series. And it says, welcome to North Falls, a small town where everyone knows everyone, or so they think. Until the night of the fireworks, when 2 teenage girls vanish and the town ignites. For Officer Amy Clifton, it's personal. She turned away when her best friend's daughter needed help, and now she must bring her home. But as Amy combs through the puzzle the girls left behind, she realizes she never really knew them. Nobody did. Every teenage girl has secrets, but who will kill for them, and what else is the town hiding? I looked at you guys' reviews for this book and they're so high. Whenever I look at reviews on Goodreads, that's literally all I look at. I look at you guys' reviews. Like anyone else, it's like, okay. And like, I love hearing you guys' reviews. And then I also picked up History Lessons by Zoe Walbrook, and this is a mystery. I want to read more cozy mysteries this year just because I don't feel like I've read a ton, and it would be a nice way to add in thrillers or like a mystery vibe without like the jumping out at me type of feel. And this says, as a newly minted junior professor, Daphne spends her days giving lectures on French colonialism, working on her next academic book, and going on atrocious dates. Her small world suits her just fine until Sam Taylor dies. The rising star of Harrison University's anthropology department was never one of Daphne's favorites, despite his popularity. But that doesn't prevent Sam's killer from believing Daphne is something that belonged to Sam, something the killer will stop at nothing to get. Between grading papers and navigating her disastrous love life, Daphne embarks on her own investigation to find out what connects her to Sam's murder. With the help of an alluring former detective turned bookseller, she unravels a deadly cover-up on campus. This well-crafted, voice-driven mystery introduces an unforgettable crime fiction heroine. And this is by a Black author, and I have not heard anyone talk about this book, so excited to pick it up. It was actually in the new section, so I think it just came out. And then the last book I picked up is Left of Forever. I've heard that this is such a great book, and I've heard a lot of people say this is kind of like a slow burn. There's a lot of tension, so I really want to read this. It says, Wren and Ellis Bird fell in love as kids. He had their son Sam when they were only teenagers, and built a life together in the coastal town of Spuns, Oregon. They were made for one another until they fell apart. Now divorced and in their 30s, Wren runs the bakery in town while Ellis works as a firefighter. They live separate lives, though they are hardly off each other's minds. When Ellis and Wren move Sam into college, Ellis convinces Wren to take an extended road trip back to Spuns to see if they can give their relationship one last chance. Amid the gorgeous California coastline and the intimacy they have missed for years, Wren starts to think it just might be possible. But can the past truly be left behind? When words fail and old wounds resurface, it's a soul-bearing letter that could finally reveal the truth or close the door on them forever. I love books that have that like tension and slow burn and that yearning. Those are my favorite types of romances to read, so I hope that this definitely has that. I've never read anything by Tara DeWitt, but I've heard a lot of good things about this one. So those are all the books that I have to show you guys. You guys can see my hair is a little bit different today. I actually have been trying to do different hairstyles for the gym because I normally just wear a hat and I keep my hair in braids, but I feel like little braids, but I feel like that is what makes me want to get like actual like long braids in my hair because I don't wear my hair out enough. Like basically Tuesday through Friday, my hair is under a hat for most of the day. And cause like I work out, and after I work out, sometimes I'm like, like, do I want to take it out of the hat? Cause it's like, we're halfway through the day. Like, well, not halfway, but you know what I mean? It's like the day's already like going, and like I work from home. So it's like, not like I have to. And so I've been trying to find like cute little styles and do different things with my hair to enjoy my hair after workout, but versus just like wearing a hat. And I definitely think it's difficult, like finding hairstyles that work well for natural hair when you know you're gonna like sweat, like a heavy sweat after a CrossFit workout. It's just really hard. But every day I've been trying to do new styles. Today I did this, and then yesterday I had like a half up, half down style. I had like a little clip in the back. So I've been trying different things, but I don't know, let me know what you guys think. And I feel like some of you guys have asked for like hair, like inspo tutorials, like how I do my hair. So let me know if you guys want to see more of that, because I can share that in videos too. This is one of the books on the list that I want to read because I read all the other books in the series, and I just kind of want to finish out this series. I also want to read Beasts of Prey, which is like the first in, I think, a series. And I also want to read Birth of a Dynasty, which is a book that just came out, but I kind of feel like I need to read something that isn't like super heavy world building. And this is another fantasy that I want to read, and this is by a Black author. So I already love Shanora Williams' writing. Like, I literally have read so many of her books, and I even rated Beautiful Broken Love 5 stars. So I feel like jumping into a fantasy by an author that I already love is like a great start. And this is actually a romantasy now that I like think about it. So I'm excited to read this, and the reviews for this are so good too. I am so glad that I picked up this book when I'm in like a headspace to do it, because this book is about grief, and the main character, she loses her best friend to cancer. That's literally like on the back of the book, so it's not like a spoiler or anything. But I've been saying I've been wanting to read this book for a really long time, because I feel like after my dad passed, it was like almost cathartic to read stories of people who are navigating through grief. Like, I read Into the Dark by Jessa Hastings, and that book will forever be a 6-star read for me, because honestly, you guys know Brady is incredible, but after my dad passed, he ended up getting the newest release of Into the Dark before it was actually released. So I got it for Christmas, and he passed in October, like almost 2 years ago. And Brady got it as my Christmas gift, and it didn't come out, I think, until like March of the next year, I'm pretty sure. Maybe it was January. No, I think it was March. And it just came at the perfect time because there's so much talk of like grief and loss in that story. And it's just like so, like, I don't know how she was able to get like my feelings on paper. Like I literally felt like I was reading my like feelings on paper. And when you're going through grief for the first time and it's like so debilitating and it just feels like it's all consuming, it feels very isolating because there's no one that you know who can like resonate in the same way. Like I feel like especially someone who is younger, who has lost a parent, I don't know anyone personally who's like my age who's lost a parent, or just like someone who's like, you know, just like close in your, what's it called? Like familial space. So like, you know, a grandparent, a great grandparent, like those I feel like for most people are a different type of loss. Like I've lost many grandparents and of course like I love them and, you know, miss them so much, but like because they lived a full life, you almost feel like you feel sad, but it's like it makes sense, right? And my dad, he was in, you know, his early 60s. He ended up going on hospice, and so he had 19 days where he was like on his way to heaven. And I think for me that was hard because again, it's like, you know, it's coming, you don't know when, and then when it does come, you feel like a level of guilt because you're like, I wish I did this or I wish I did that. And you have like so many different thoughts and emotions and missing them. But of course, like recognizing they'll never be a part of your life, like for big events. And it's just an all-consuming feeling. And again, I didn't feel like I could resonate with anyone in my life because they didn't really get it. Like people be like, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. And I did have people who had lost people in their life, but it was like not as close. Like my dad was truly the best dad. Like he woke us up to go to church every single Sunday, and we all went at 8 a.m. together. And he was the one who like took me to Macy's to like get my first bra. And he was the one who just like, you know, taught me how to golf. And he would take us to like this little park, and we would go to get peanut brittle, and we'd all eat peanut brittle at the park, and we'd all like bike there, like all 6 of us. Like what dad is taking their 6 kids like out for the day? He would be the one who took me to the library. Whenever I talk about how like I would go and get like stacks and stacks of books, he was the one who took me every single week to go get those books. So he's just like a very incredible dad, and he never missed like a recital. He never missed a soccer game. He never missed anything. He was the one who took me to college to like drop me off. And I feel so grateful for both my mom and my dad, but I feel like a lot of women will have like this incredibly close relationship with their mother, which I do. But I also feel like you usually see like the boys having like a super close relationship with their dads, and a super close, like the girls having a super close relationship with their mom. And I had an incredibly close relationship with both my parents, so I feel very grateful for that. But again, like whenever I was getting ready to get married, he had already had like a ton of strokes and was like in kidney failure and had like seizures and things. So he went from like working out all the time to like being in a wheelchair to, you know, needing someone to help feed him. And I remember right before my wedding, he was like, I'm going to walk you down that aisle. And like at this point we're like, sir, you're like literally in a wheelchair. Like it's not gonna happen. And he worked with his physical therapist to be able to walk me down the aisle. And again, just like such an incredible dad, because he's like, he knew that that was important to him. He knew it was important to me. And so having the grief of like losing such an incredible person in my life, you feel empty, but you're also always thinking of them. And this book, I definitely couldn't have read it earlier than I have now. Like it will be 2 years since he's been gone in about 2 months. So if I had read this before that, I think that it would have like wrecked me. And now I feel like I'm reading it in a place that's like, wow, what a great story of someone who's like working and navigating through grief, and I'm not just like a freaking puddle on the floor. There's actually a quote on page 86 where she goes, she's like, I'm a torrent of tears burn their way out of me. I'm bent over and gasping for air, and every muscle I have is bearing down, trying to squeeze this pain clear of me so that I can live, because I won't survive if it stays. How could anyone endure this? How can I endure this? And this book is literally that, like her just being like, how can I get through another day without this person that I love so much? And when you're grieving someone, you literally feel like that. Like every day, it's like you're waking up, just walking through quicksand. Like, how am I going to get past these emotions? And I remember, like, I was on a plane one day. Can't remember where I was headed. And when I was on the plane, Lizzie McAlpine, who wrote Ceilings, she wrote, like, what's it called? Like the songs like Summer is Falling, It's a Distant Dream. It like just came out. I love her music, like always have, but her dad passed a few years back, and every album she writes a song in his honor. Now I knew that, but it was prior to when my dad passed. And if you're someone who's never had to navigate loss, honestly, it's great that you haven't. And I wouldn't say never, because I feel like most people have like lost something in their life, maybe a grandparent, or like maybe someone you knew at your school who like was like a distant person. Like maybe, you know, you've lost, but I think when you lose someone that's like an anchor, someone that is supposed to be there, like for a certain allotted time, like I feel like parents, in your head, you think my parents are gonna be here for my kid's wedding, you know, like in your head, or like siblings, it's like my siblings are gonna be here until the day I die. Like there's certain people in your brain that are like, they're not supposed to be gone at this time. I think that that's the thing that like really wrecks you, because you feel like you have so much time. Whereas again, with grandparents, it's like, if they live to their 86, they've kind of lived to the point that you expect them to live. So like it's sad, but like you don't feel that like, oh, you know, they're missing out because they're like 86, right? So I remember hearing this song, it's called March. It's by Lizzie McAlpine, and I was listening to it on an airplane. I can't remember where I was going, and it's like one of the last songs on her album before she added the extended version. Didn't know that this one was the one about her dad. Sobbing, absolutely sobbing. And not sobbing like hiccuping, like sobbing like there's a torrential downpour coming out of my eyeballs and I cannot stop it. And I'm someone who, I don't think I've ever like cried in public where I can't like get it together. You know, like I might have like a tear here, a tear there, and then just like wipe it away and it's like, I'm fine. Torrential downpour. I'm just wiping my face, putting my face in my shirt, like I cannot get it together. And I think it's because it came out of nowhere. That song is basically like sharing how hard it is. You didn't think it would be this hard, and it's even harder than you thought. And it's like, how will I get through this? And that, I feel, encapsulates what this book is like. But what I love about this book, and honestly, I think that this would be a great book if you're someone who knows someone going through grief. The guy in this book, it's truly like a friends to lovers situation. Like I haven't even got to the lovers part. Like the part that I'm loving so much is how good of a friend he is. But I think the thing that's like so beautiful is he's showing up in ways that I feel like every friend should. There's a part where she is like, he literally said you're like a walking corpse, because she's like so tired, and he's like, are you not sleeping? And she's like, no, like I haven't been sleeping. Like my best friend died, and like we lived together. Like I can't even go back to my home. Like, you know, I think of her all the time. She's in everything. She is everywhere. And he's like, why didn't you call me? And she was like, well, like, what is that gonna do? Like me calling you? And he was like, it's gonna like have me be there for you. Like like, that's what I'm here for. And he kind of was like getting irritated, not at her, but just being like, duh, like that's literally what I'm here for. And I feel like reading books like this and seeing characters like that, where it's like, he's not even giving her the option to be like, oh, like call me if you need me. He's like, if you don't call me, I'm gonna be angry with you. Like he's showing up for her and making her like have to receive his love. I think that that is the perfect example of how you should be if you have someone who's navigating through grief, because no one ever wants to be like a burden. You always feel like you are, but your feelings and emotions are heavy and they're like very long. And again, I feel like it's taken me 2 full years to even get to the point where I'm like not getting emotional in the sense of like falling apart while I'm talking about this. Again, 2 years. And like, I haven't even been to my dad's gravesite yet because I have not got to the point where I can like do that. And I wish that more books talked about how to help someone navigate through grief and the grieving process, because I feel like you see a lot of the grieving process, but you don't see the opposite. So this would be really great if you're someone who's trying to figure out how to like support a friend. Literally be him, literally be him. But I'm not super far into this, but it is really good so far. I'm really enjoying it. And I feel like, you know, this is my first book by her, but it definitely won't be my last. You said that book was called? Oh, you found it.
I found the author, The Will of Many.
Okay.
But I'm assuming they're in alphabetical order. So maybe they don't have it, which might be a sign.
It is written by a man. So.
Am I missing out?
Guys, Lynn was saying that she didn't want to get this book because she's like, I don't know if it's going to be good because it's written by a man, and I literally feel I feel the exact same way. But I have heard, like you were saying, you have Red Rising on your list to read. I have heard it's good.
I've heard it's good.
But it's like there is a man.
And look at him.
And he's got. What's it about?
I have no idea. I kind of blind bought it.
I know someone who like swears, like
I've heard
so many people
almost
are
nothing
obsessed
but
with
good
this
stuff
book
about it, but I don't know.
All right, if you guys have read this book and liked it, comment below, because I'm not like a fantasy girl. Like I'm trying to get in my fantasy bag, but I don't really know like what's good, what's not. So I have heard One Dark Window is like a good one too.
Yes, I've heard that too. I actually think I might own it. Like in one of my like
You already
random
have,
like
like, so
spending
many
sprees. I don't need a book here. I need to leave.
Like I just need to go back home to my books at the house. What was the horror that you said that you read that was like not your favorite? I can tell your eyes are giving like deep sighs. Like she's like, oh.
It was like a medieval horror.
Okay.
Like religious horror, and it had potential.
Okay.
But it just
You just felt like you knew like the plot.
I knew what was gonna happen. Like there was no twist. The twist was not a twist.
You knew it was.
So it was like fine.
Those are the worst.
I know.
Feel like you spend $25 or $20 and then it's like I could have written this book.
Which has its own merits. Like it was a very comforting read. But
not what you were looking
His
for.
Black Tongue.
His Black Tongue. Okay. What's the cover look like?
I actually started listening to it on an audiobook because I kind of didn't want to read it. But the cover got me. I was like, that
is
looks
a cool
scary,
cover.
right? And so I was like, I'm going to do it. And so I bought it online, like ebook, read it, and I was like, I like this, but I'm like...
Sometimes you surprise me. Like, you're like, this cover looks so good. And his like head is blasted off. Like...
I'm just going to say, if I was going to read a horror book...
Yeah, you want a horror, yeah. I will never get over how Lynn literally read this book. How many pages are in here?
Oh, I have no idea. You want me to look?
Yeah. How long did it take you to read it?
800.
That's crazy.
Definitely my whole bachelor.
Yeah, she literally was reading this on her bachelor party. We had so much fun though, because I read so many books. Like, I think that was honestly my favorite bachelorette party I've ever been to. I asked Lynn how many books she thinks that I have on my like to be read list at home. Like these are books that I own that are at my house that I have not read at my house. Just take a guess.
Well, I
First she said 20,
so now I'm gonna up it. 45.
I have over 300 books. I'm so serious. I have over 300 books. Yeah, I know.
Where?
It's so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad.
Where in your house are these books?
They're just on the shelf. Yeah. Now, I will say,
by the way,
I have like so many books. That's why I was like, do I need these? But I read 175 books last year.
See.
I read 170 books the year before, and this year I'm like on pace to read 180. So like, I've read 100 and But you also read like epic fantasies
That's
too.
true.
Like that. I mean, those take a long time. Like I'm reading like a romance that's like like that,
Yeah.
like 300 something pages. So maybe if I get into fantasy, but so do I need these? Is
Yeah,
that-
you do.
That's the kind of energy I need. Does this make you want to pick up a romance? There's literally like there's so many. This is crazy. Lynn got a book. What'd you get again? Divine Rivals. So many people have told me to read it, so I feel like you're gonna like it.
I know, I'm pumped.
It's time for me to end the vlog, and I want to show you guys the books that I ended up finishing, but I also want to show you guys all the books that I picked up. I got so many. Guys, this is one of the best bookstores that I've been to. Like, and you guys know I've been to so many bookstores. I love this bookstore. They opened just like a little over a year ago. It's called the Novel Neighbor. And it's just like the selection is unreal. They have so many books that I don't normally see in bookstores, so many books by indie authors, so many books by Black authors, so many signed copies. They have a whole room just for romance, and there's tons in that room. And then they also have like contemporary fiction and fantasy. I absolutely loved the selection. But before I show you guys the book haul, I do want to show you guys the books that I finished. I ended up finishing a lot of really good books, and I feel like I kind of branched out just like a little bit for what I wanted to read. Even though these are romances, I will say they're definitely different than what I like always pick up. I started out the vlog reading Team Players. I think I'd already finished this before the vlog even started. This is a really good book. I feel like Deanna Gray's writing is just like fun. It's really easy. This is probably my favorite in the series. I read Sunny Disposition, and I'm gonna rate this 4 stars just because I loved it so much. And then I also read Summer's Echo. This is just like a feel-good read. If you're wanting a romance, it's just like gonna make your heart feel warm. It's gonna just like have those like you know that the characters are soulmates and that they like just are meant to be together type of feel. Pick this book up. It is very, very good. It is definitely different than, I feel like a lot of people have read Somebody's Husband by Robbie Renee. It's definitely different than that, so keep that in mind. It definitely is like spicy, but it's more of like a so in love, like that type of feel is very good. I think I'm gonna rate this one a 3.5 out of 5 stars. And again, very, very good. You just have to be in the mood for that type of read. I feel like when I read it initially, I was like expecting something like super spicy, kind of daring and fun, which is like the vibe of what I've read from Robbie Renee in the past. And this was more like, you know, it's so sweet. Like they meet at summer camp, and it's just that type of romance. But I do think you can read this in the fall because it's very cozy. And they also, because they meet at summer camp, you get like later on after summer in like October. And the reason it's called Summer's Echo is because his name is Echo and her name is Summer. It's not like set in the summer. It's getting a little bit dark, so I just changed my settings so it wouldn't be quite as dark. I also feel like my hair, I've been trying to do like natural styles now that like my braids are out, and I've been trying different things, and it's definitely hard to try new styles because you never know how they're gonna like last throughout the day. Like when I left my house, my hair like looked so good, and then as I was gone, my curls just completely disappeared. So I like twisted this side right here, and then I like left this side out, and thinking it would have like, you know, luscious curls, which it did initially, and then eventually the curls completely fell out. So I just ended up like pinning it back, and there's like a clip in the back to like hold it, but I kind of feel like Velma because my hair is just like this. But at least I know like my ends look good because they're kind of like all even. I literally just like, I don't know, never really go to like a hairdresser. I just kind of like figure it out on my own, and it's like worked for me. I also ended up reading Maybe for the Summer by Aubrey Penn. This book was good. I do think that it had way more spice than I expected, which is funny because I came from this book expecting spice, but I think that just goes to show that like what you expect out of a book, at least for me, plays a big part in how I rate the book, because I pick up the book based on the mood that I'm in. And I didn't expect this to be like a super spicy read. I kind of expected it to be like just like a heartwarming, like kind of this type of vibe. And when I picked it up, I was very surprised that it was like just very, very spicy. If you go into this, just know it is a very, very spicy read. I think I'm gonna rate this one 2 stars, or not 2 stars, wow, 3 stars. It was really good, but it just was like very, very spicy. And you guys know I don't normally pick up super, super spicy reads. And if I do, it's like I have to be in the mood for it. I have to know it's coming, and I didn't really expect it with this one, but it was good. It was very enjoyable. And I'm currently reading, well, I guess I'll finish out the books that I like finished reading. Promise Me Sunshine, I finished this. I talked about this a lot. This book right here did not feel like a romance at all to me. I did really enjoy it. I feel like it had so many great themes of like grief and loss and working through that, but it did not feel like a romance in the slightest. Like the very end, I was like, wait, you guys are getting together? Like I feel like you guys have just been really good friends throughout this whole book. Again, it was very enjoyable, but it almost read more like contemporary fiction in a way. Even though it was like a very easy read, it kind of read more like that than a romance. I'm gonna rate this one 3 stars. I love the themes of grief, but when they ended up like having the romance part come in, I just was very confused because it was so far into the book. And like, there's a point where she sticks her hand in his pocket and she goes to get like keys or something, and there's like absolutely no tension or anything. She's like, oh, just let me grab the keys. Like, and that would have been like a perfect setup to be like, ooh, like I'm starting to feel butterflies because I'm like close to him. And there were just like a lot of, I think, missed moments to kind of build on that tension. Cause like, I don't mind if you don't have like spice or anything until like the end, or if you don't even have like a huge connection till the end. But I feel like you have to have something to build the tension. I don't feel like this book really had a lot of that, but I loved how he helped her work through her grief and navigate that. And if you're someone who's going through grief or just grieving some kind of like loss, if you're looking for books that feel real, this book feels so real. You can really feel her pain, and I feel like it will be very validating if you're going through that, but also take that with caution because maybe you're someone who doesn't want to read that if you're going through that. I also ended up reading this book, which I immediately want to read the rest of the series. This book was incredible. It definitely gave Wattpad vibes, so like you have to know that going into it to enjoy it. But every second something was happening, like car crashes and like people in the hospital. Like, I mean, everything under the sun happened in this book, and I was so entertained. And I think the thing that made me like this so much is because there was so much happening. Even though it was like a 488 page book, it went by so fast because of that. And those are the types of books I like to read. Like if I'm reading a long book, give me everything in it, like everything under the sun. I do not want to be bored. And I'm gonna rate this book 4.5 out of 5 stars. This is definitely my favorite of the entire video. Cannot shut up about this, and I will continue not to shut up about it. It only has 275 reviews on Goodreads. Please go pick it up. It also has found family in this, and it's made me want to read the rest of the books in the series because the rest of the books are about other characters. I also will say this book reminded me a lot of Our Secret Moments by Janisha Boswell, like the writing style. Or if you haven't read that, if you've read like, trying to think, like, what's a good example? Like Icebreaker by Hannah Grace, like just very easy writing, not the spice part of it, but you know what I mean? Like how easy the writing is. It's just like funny, banter and they kind of go back and forth. This book reminds me of that a lot. Oh my gosh, the sun is coming through here. So yeah, really enjoyed this one. And then I am currently reading Soul Ties by Miss Candace. I have not read this book. This actually is coming out with a new cover, which I'm really excited about, but I almost thought about waiting, but then I was like, I already own it and I'm just gonna read it with this cover, but I do like the new cover just a smidge better. Not that I hate this one, it just like doesn't really look like anything. It's like two people holding hands and it's like all black. So like there just really isn't much to go off of, so you don't really know what it's like gonna really be about. If you read 1201 by Bella J, this has a similar vibe. Like some of the stuff that's in 1201 is also in this book. There's also multiple POVs, so even though it's a thick book, it goes by really fast. I'm on chapter 11 and there are 461 pages or 62 pages, and I know I'm gonna finish this really fast. If you like spicy reads, but also like that, like, I don't know, like messy type of read, at least that's what I'm kind of getting so far. I feel like you will enjoy this one. I'm loving it. I know I'm gonna rate this very, very high. I know for sure it's gonna be like a 4-star read at least. I'm really loving this book. So I definitely would recommend this one. And then for the haul, let's go through these books. I'm gonna try to go through these quick before the sun just completely takes over the rest of this video. You guys know I've been trying to branch out into just picking up different types of books. And so a lot of the books in this stack are very different than what I normally grab. I only grabbed one romance, and that's because obviously I just got a bunch of romances for my birthday and I'm still going through those and feel so grateful for those. And I didn't want to like really grab a ton of romances because I obviously already have a ton of new ones, but I did want to get a book by Beverly Jenkins. This is an incredible author who she's like literally an icon. She's been writing for years. She is like that girl, like so many people are obsessed with her writing, and I've never read anything of hers. And I am actually gonna be one of the moderators at the Black Romance like book festival. Yeah, secret's out. I guess it wasn't really a secret, but like it's posted on my Instagram, so I figured I could share with you guys. And she's gonna be one of the like speakers there, and I've never read anything of hers, so I definitely want to read something of hers because I think she's gonna be one of like the oldest writers there as well. And this is a historical fiction, and I just feel like it would be a really great read. It is about Hester Wyatt, who escapes from slavery. And they are a dedicated member of the Michigan's Underground Railroad. And then there's a conductor known as the Black Daniel, who's a vital member of the North's Underground Railroad network. And I think he ends up needing shelter or something like that, and like care. So I'm excited to read this. I almost got forbidden by Beverly Jenkins instead because I've heard great things about that book too, but I decided to get her first book because like it looks really easy to read. It's not like in the smaller print like a lot of other books are. Also the words like look really easy to read, and so I just feel like reading a smaller book I would never actually get to it because I just do not like how those books look because they're so short and like compact and the words are small, and I feel like the colors of the letters like bleed together. So yeah, excited to read this one, historical fiction by a Black author. And then I got Lonely Crowds. This is a book that you guys actually recommended. I asked for you guys to give me recommendations for books by Black authors that are contemporary fiction, and this book just came out and you guys recommended this one. It says, in this riveting debut novel, two outsiders forge a volatile friendship and enter the glamorous early 90s art world in New York City, where only one of them can make it. It says Ruth, and I'm not gonna read the whole like blurb, but I just am gonna read the last like paragraph. It says, Ruth and Mariah's decades-long friendship interrogates the nature of intimacy, desire, class, and time. What does it mean to be an artist, to be true to oneself? What does it mean to give up on an obsession? Marking the arrival of a sensational new literary talent, Lonely Crowds challenges us to reckon honestly with our ambitions and the lives we hope to lead. Really excited to read this. Thank you, whoever recommended it. I can't remember exactly. And another recommendation from you guys was The Loved One. This is also by a Black author, and this is a contemporary fiction as well. I feel like this fall I'm gonna be in my contemporary fiction era. Last year I really wanted to get into contemporary fiction, which I did, but I wanted to read more diverse reads. I also feel like I read a lot of historical fiction last year, but I also wanted to read, again, more diverse reads as well, like books that aren't super popular, maybe debut authors, Black authors, just books that like don't have a ton of reviews on Goodreads. Like, we love the Kristen Hannas. We love, you know, the like, what's his name? The guy who wrote the hockey book. You guys know what I'm talking about. Friedrich Backman. We love the Friedrich Backmans. Like, you know, we love those authors, but can we get something else? Like, can we get something else? And I almost feel like I don't get enough recommendations of other things. And so when I want to branch out to a new author, it's like hard to find. So I'm glad you guys recommended this. This says, from an Emmy award-winning writer comes a funny, wise, heartbreaking story about a woman journeying into the unknown in the wake of loss. It says, in an emotional mystery spanning years, continents, and relationship statuses, Loved Ones introduces Aisha Marar as a novelist intimately attuned to the intricacies of love, memory, ambiguous loss. What happens when we admit that the deepest feelings never die? How do we reconcile various and sometimes contradictory truths about those closest to us? An engrossing and profoundly moving coming-of-age story with a powerful love at its heart. Loved One is poised to become an instant classic. So again, this is a new book and recommended by you guys. You've read it, loved it, so I'm excited to read it. I also picked up King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby. I've never read anything by S.A. Cosby, and he is a Black author that is like so well known in like the thriller space. And this says, a son returning home, a dangerous debt, secrets about to ignite, and a family about to be consumed by flames. It just looks so good. Like, I don't want to read like the whole inside, but I read it in the bookstore and I was like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna wanna put this one down. And it looks like it's gonna be like a chase in there. Like, it's just like you're running against time, that kind of thing. Cannot wait to read it. Also, you guys recommended this. You said that you haven't had, like one of you said that you haven't had a lot of 5-star reads, and this was one that you've had this year. So I love that. And the last thing I picked up, Kayla's Bookish Vibes, her YouTube channel, she always recommends such great historical fictions and like fantasies, romances too, but I feel like that's where I normally get those recs for books that I don't normally read. And she recently read Birth of a Dynasty, and this is a fantasy by a Black author. It just came out, and I feel like if I'm reading a dystopian story where it feels realistic, those are the types of fantasies I think I'm gonna enjoy the most, because like Blood Moon, I was sharing with you guys, like that's a fantasy I really am excited to read, because it's like, it's set in real time, like they're going to school, but they just happen to be vampires. That's how I feel like those are the fantasies I feel like I'll like. And this, I'm pretty sure, is just like a story with like political intrigue, and it's like a unknown, unrealistic like place in the world. Like, it literally obviously doesn't exist. And I think there's like kings and things, and it says between, well, I guess I'll read like the little first blurb. It says, intense political intrigue mixes with gorgeous world building to bring readers Birth of a Dynasty, the first book in a thrilling epic fantasy trilogy centered around 3 families fight for power, a land where blood is the most important currency, magic is feared, and prophecy holds sway. And I'll read like the bottom blurb. That's also like a little tip. If you don't want to read like the whole thing, usually the last blurb in like a book, it like gives you a good synopsis, so like you don't have to read all 3 paragraphs. But at the bottom it says, between scheming ladies at court, backstabbing princes on the prowl, and paranoid kings, the 2 main characters, they must, I don't know their names, like Zikora and Mikura, must do what they can, no matter how terrible, to save their people and claim vengeance for their families. But they are just 2 young people against an entire kingdom and a prophecy destined to thwart their dreams. And the last thing they can do is trust anyone, maybe even each other. So this just sounds like the type of fantasy that I will like. And Kayla raved about this book. She's like, I rate this 5 stars. Like, it's amazing. Like, and I'm pretty sure she got an arc of it. So another thing that I loved is like this book was there. Like, I was checking for a lot of these books at my Barnes and Noble. They were not there. Like, they weren't there, and I was like, okay, so I'm gonna have to order them from where? Because like I just, you know, I do order a lot of books from Call and Response Bookstore out of Chicago, which is a Black-owned bookstore. They have a great selection, but sometimes I just don't want to like order it. I just want to like buy it in store. Like there's just the book shopping experience is always so much better than just like ordering online and like opening a package. So it was really nice to be able to like search for this in the bookstore, look around for it, read through the pages. I wanted to also look before I bought it to see if the words were really big, because sometimes I feel like epic fantasies, like the text can be super small and it can look like it'll be boring. This looks super easy to read on the inside. So I also wanted to look at the other books and do the same thing. So yeah, I just enjoy this video so much and I hope you guys did too. I got so many good books. I went shopping obviously with my friend Lynn, and we've been friends for I think like 5 years now. And it's funny because she's a big fantasy reader, so I got even more excited to read fantasy, and she picked up, obviously as you guys saw, Divine Rivals, and so many of you guys have recommended that. So I told her, I was like, please tell me if you like it, and if you like it, I will read it, but I need to hear like from her to see if she likes it. So hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.